I was the kid always left behind when my brothers went on their big camping trips. I'm the second of three boys. Both of my siblings went through the whole Boy Scouts thing. My older brother climbed all the way to Eagle Scout, and my younger one dropped out after a year. But for some reason, my folks never signed me up. I used to get so jealous watching them load up the car with gear, especially my older brother, Mark, when he'd come home with a new tent to practice setting up. Our yard wasn't a typical fenced-in square. It was this sprawling patch of grass that bled into clusters of trees, creating these natural walls between us and the neighbors. It felt like our own little wilderness. I was maybe 7 when I convinced Mark we should do a trial run, camp out in the back 40. My parents were all for it. They even helped us get the fire pit going, and we roasted marshmallows while my youngest brother, who was barely 4, got to join us for the s'mores before they took him inside for the night. I remember lying in that tent, the unfamiliar crunch of the sleeping bag under me. It was dark, and after a while of tossing and turning, I finally drifted off. When I woke, something felt off. My eyes adjusted to the dim light filtering through the tent fabric, and my stomach dropped. Mark's sleeping bag was empty, and the zipper was still shut tight. I figured he must have gotten bored and gone back to the house. But as I reached for the zipper to follow him, a sliver of moonlight caught something outside. I paused, pressing my face close to the mesh, and that's when I saw him. A man was sitting on the bench by the fire pit, just staring at the tent. He wasn't moving. He wasn't my dad. I scrambled backward, my heart hammering in my chest, and zipped the door shut again. I thought maybe if I stayed perfectly still, he'd go away. Then I heard the gravel shift outside. A shadow fell across the side of the tent, blocking the pale moonlight. A hand appeared, slowly working the zipper tab. It slid down just a few inches, and then an eye appeared in the gap at the bottom of the tent, a single, unblinking eye, the white part catching the light. I tried to scream, but it came out as a strangled gasp. The eye squinted, like the person was smiling. I finally found my voice, kicking and thrashing against the tent walls. The footsteps retreated in a rush, just as the back porch light snapped on, and my dad came charging out. Some fears are born in the dark, but they live in the light. My parents called the cops, but they didn't find anyone. For a few weeks, life tried to go back to normal. I remember being on the playground at my Catholic school during recess. We were playing some kind of tag, and I ran up to the chain-link fence. A voice came from the other side, a man asking for directions. I told him I didn't know, and he leaned in. He said, "Your name is Chris, right?" My blood ran cold. I remember his smile. He said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I bolted, running straight for the teacher on duty. By the time I turned around, he was gone. I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, it was the same man from my backyard. The school called my parents, and I was pulled out of class. Fast forward years later, I was 21, fresh into my first house, about an hour away from where I grew up. I was on a marketplace app looking for furniture, and I found a listing for a massive cream-colored couch that looked brand new. The seller was practically giving it away. I messaged him, and he was short, direct, and easy to negotiate with. We agreed on a price, and he told me to swing by that evening. The address took me to a coastal road. The GPS led me down a long dirt driveway that opened up to this massive clearing. At the top of a hill sat this ridiculously nice house, like something you'd see in a magazine. There was a beat-up old sedan parked out front that looked completely out of place. I went up to the front door to knock, but there was a yellow sticky note taped to it. It said, "Bell broken, come around back." I walked around the side, past windows with all the blinds drawn. The backyard opened up to a breathtaking view of the ocean. I went up to the sliding glass door and knocked. Nothing. I waited, checking my phone. No reply. I started to get a weird feeling, so I walked down to the cliffside to get a picture. When I turned back around, every single blind in every window was now up, and at each window there was a person. They were standing completely still, like mannequins. I took a step closer, and then I noticed their faces. Every single one of them was smiling. I started jogging back towards the front of the house, and even that side window I'd passed earlier now had its blind up, with another person standing there, watching me. I dove into my truck and reversed down the driveway. As I pulled away, I looked back. The front door was wide open, and a man was standing on the porch, hands in his pockets, watching me leave. The profile on the app was deleted immediately after. I drove to the nearest neighbor's house, a guy named Tom. He was shocked. He said his neighbor, Jim, wasn't even in town that week. He called Jim right there. I described the scene, the smiling people, the car. Jim's voice went cold. He said he had no idea what I was talking about. The cops found the house unlocked, but nothing missing. The blinds were closed again, and the sedan was gone.